Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Playeasy Warmup, the podcast where we dive into the stories, people, and places driving the sporting event and tourism industry forward. I'm your host, Kerri Shields. Today's episode is a really fun one and taps into something we're seeing everywhere right now: the growth of pickleball and how the structure around it is evolving. I'm joined by Karen Parrish from US Senior Pickleball, who brings an incredible depth of experience from her time leading competition and sanctioning at USA Pickleball to now helping shape one of the most structured and competitive senior circuits in the country. In this conversation, we go deep into what it really takes to build a competitive ecosystem, from ratings and sanctioning to creating a true player pathway from local events all the way to national championships. We also get into the details people don't always see: what separates a great event from an average one, how to create consistency across tournaments happening all over the country, and what it takes to deliver an experience that keeps athletes coming back. And of course, we talk about the bigger picture: what's really driving the growth of pickleball and where the opportunity lies ahead. If you care about competition, community, and building meaningful experience in sports, this is a great one. Let's get into it. Today's episode is sponsored by the Playeasy Innovator Summit, happening this summer, June 15th through 17th, 2026, in Ann Arbor, Michigan, at the Vanguard Ann Arbor. The Innovator Summit is Playsy's annual gathering of destination leaders, event organizers, and industry partners. 3 days of hands-on innovation, real conversations, and practical ideas you can bring back to your community. Ann Arbor is a city that knows sports and knows how to host. Just 20 minutes from the airport, it's easy to get to and get around, with top-tier sports facilities, a walkable downtown, and 400 plus restaurants perfect for connecting outside of sessions. Between meetings, take in the energy of the University of Michigan, explore the Huron River, and be sure to stay for a private tour of the Big House on our final evening together. If you're thinking about innovation, technology, and what's next for hosting, we'd love to see you in Ann Arbor this June. Karen, welcome to the Playeasy Warmup podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited for this conversation for a lot of reasons, but let's start at the beginning. How did you first get into sports and what led you into pickleball?
Okay, so I've been involved in sports my entire life, it seems like, with two older brothers and an older sister that played competitive sports. I really didn't have much of a choice. So I grew up, softball, baseball, basketball, doing all that kind of stuff. And then I was working at the local rec center back in my hometown, which is Destin, Florida. And I'm working up at the front desk and I hear this noise and I'm like, what is going on back there? So I walked down the hall and I kind of peek my head into the gym. And still true to this day, people who take their pickleball equipment, when they see a newbie, they're like, hey, come here, we want to show you something. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm game. So I walked out there and they put a paddle in my hand and it was over. Soon as you hit the ball the first time, I was like, oh my gosh, I found something else to do that I love. So that's how I got involved.
Oh, I love it. And I do know, for people who've listened to this podcast before, my dad is an avid pickleball player. He claims that he brought the sport over to Ireland when he's been a few times. So big pickleball family because of him. So I understand exactly what you're saying. But you spent 5 years as the managing director of competition at USA Pickleball,
Mhm.
overseeing sanctioning and ratings. How did that experience shape the way you think about the sport today?
I think it shaped not only myself, but a lot of people because when I was with the USA Pickleball, we were really in the beginning stages. So I started off as a regional director. And so I oversaw the Southeast region, ran regional tournaments, and then I took on the position of managing director of competition with USA Pickleball. So I oversaw the sanctioning, the ratings. I did the national tournament from Casa Grande all the way up to Indian Wells. So to see that grow organically was just pure pickleball. So we see it in so many forms now. We see pros, we see juniors, we see college athletes playing, but the seniors, we just keep bringing on and on because as they retire, they want to find
Yeah.
something new. So being a part of pickleball back when it really first started in its competitive infancy, I guess you could say, really helped shape what you see now.
That's awesome. And it's funny, when we were preparing for this conversation, one of my producers and I actually said, what exactly is it? What does it mean to be involved in ratings and sanctioning? Could you break down what that actually means?
Sure. So sanctioning is a way of working with a tournament director. And on our side, we call it certifying. Most people call it sanctioning, but we'll work with a tournament director because senior pickleball is a little bit different. So we have set up formats to be more of a success for seniors because you'll see players who are 60, 65, 70. And in our formats, we keep the ages and then combine skill levels as opposed to vice versa. So sanctioning will work with the tournament director to ensure that their tournaments are set up correctly. If they have any questions, if they're looking for somebody to run their event, we do it all from helping them set up a tournament for success for seniors. Ratings is to ensure that players are playing in the correct skill level. You see so many ratings programs out there now. You see the Duper and you see UTR, and I believe the new system out is VAR. We have stayed consistent with the original ratings program that USA Pickleball used years ago, and that was the UTPR. For us, it's a senior tournament pickleball rating, and it's very easy to understand. If you win your matches, your ratings go up. If you lose, your ratings go down. Now, it depends on who you're playing and what their ratings are, but it's very easy to understand. And in the ratings program, if you feel like your rating is not right, or if you feel like another player's rating is not right, you can reach out to me directly with US Senior Pickleball. If they are a US Senior Pickleball member, I can go in, research tournament history, take a look at it and be like, yeah, your rating is a little bit too low. You've won 3 gold medals at these past tournaments, and we can modify that rating to ensure that they are playing in the correct skill level.
That's helpful because, as I mentioned, my family, big pickleball family. What drew you specifically to the competition and event side of the sport?
Yes. So with pickleball, you have the recreational side and then the competition side, right? So the competition side is that inner kid in you that still wants to get out there and compete and win that medal and, say that you're the best of the best in your area. And being a competitive athlete, when I turned 50, I was like, "Woohoo, I get to compete against people my own age."
Yeah.
So, I drifted over to that competitive side, and I played competitively for a while, but I really found out that I like being behind the scenes more, and being behind the scenes, we can put on events, and it brings a lot of joy to myself and so many tournament directors around the country to see other athletes who are anywhere between 50 to, I mean, we play with athletes 90 plus, and they're out there giggling and having a great time. And so that's the competitive part that I like to see. You can still be competitive, but have a great time.
That's awesome. And US Senior Pickleball has a full pathway from circuit series to regionals to zone championships and then ultimately nationals. Can you walk us through that
Mhm.
structure?
Yes. So our circuit series events are basically your certified or your sanctioned tournaments within US Senior Pickleball. So what that means is we will work with that tournament director to get that tournament set up. Regional and zone championships are also a pathway to our national championship. In your regional and your circuit series event, you do not have to be a US Senior Pickleball member. It makes sense though. Our membership is $20 a year, and for every US Senior Pickleball tournament you play in, you get a $10 discount. So by your third US Senior Pickleball tournament that you play in, it's already covered. Now, your zone championship is a pre-registration opportunity for nationals. What that means is if you win a gold, silver, or bronze medal in a zone championship, then you get an pre-registration opportunity to guarantee your spot at nationals. Our nationals this year is in Casa Grande, Arizona, which was one of the first places for a national championship way back in the days of USA Pickleball. So we'll be back there. We were there 2 years ago. We're going back there again this year. So you have to compete in either a circuit series event, a regional event, or a zone championship to be eligible for nationals.
And what is required for players to participate at each level?
You do not have to be a member unless you're playing in a zone championship or the national event. Again, we encourage you to be a member. It makes sense. And it pays for your membership fee after your second tournament.
Awesome. And what are some of these events hosted, and how do you think about selecting these locations? I know you said your nationals coming up are going to be in Arizona, but for your additional locations, how do you pick the venue?
So we have 6 zone directors that are all over the country. And we work with our zone directors as they are out in the field and they give us feedback on different venues. We really are looking for dedicated facilities. The days where we used to have to go to tennis courts and tape off courts or
Yeah.
indoor facilities, basketball courts, which I don't mind. That's where I started. We really look for dedicated facilities when considering a venue.
And most of these events indoor, outdoor, or both?
They're both. I would say the majority of them are outdoor, but you're starting to see more outdoor facilities with a cover over them because you can never predict the weather. And if you have a cover over them,
Yeah.
then you're pretty much guaranteed you're going to be able to use all of those courts and continue your tournament.
And what in your mind, when you think of a venue that has provided a great event experience, what are some things that really stand out about that venue?
My gosh, great venues all over the country. Again, dedicated courts. Viewing for spectators is huge. So having an area where players can go and set up their chairs or watch other matches, that's a great opportunity. Having concessions on site, whether it's via a food truck or a concession stand, different things like that make a great venue.
That's awesome. And when you are selecting these venues, is it something that you are working with destination partners to help elevate that event experience?
Yes, we work with local CBBs around the country to help us offset either some expenses, court expenses, sponsorship, anything like that. And they will come in and can also set up a table and let people know that, hey, when you're done playing pickleball today, come enjoy our city. And I mean, a lot of the places that we go to are either on the water, you can get some fresh seafood or, you know,
Yeah.
chicken and pickle is one of my favorite, and of course, some of their sandwiches are really good,
Yes.
so, just different places like that.
Yeah, and how does that help with the overall athlete experience coming to one of your events, being able to showcase that city and that venue?
I think it helps a lot because depending on where you finish in your bracket. So we run a lot of round robin brackets. And let's just say you start your brackets at 8 in the morning, you're probably done by 1 in the afternoon. So what are you going to do the rest of the day? Some people stay and they watch or they'll play afterwards. A lot of people like to go out into the city and explore. So being able to not be at a venue for 8, 10, 12 hours a day is huge. They can come in, they can play, and then they can go and enjoy the city.
Yeah. Totally. I mean, it makes all the difference just to be able to have I was a former basketball player, and so when I was playing travel basketball, it was so important to be able to do things between games. So whether that be going to get food with our team or being able to explore the local city, just enhance the overall event experience for us as athletes and our parents as, spectators coming in and joining with the travel. And so that's great to hear. And do you have an example of a successful destination partnership for one of your events?
Well, Casa Grande being one, which is why we're going back there for nationals. We've been to several venues. Probably most recently was Pictona, where we held our national championship this past year. They have a great group of volunteers and staff and just above board. And we really enjoyed working with that group.
I love to hear it. And I mean, you're running events all across the country. And so, how do you ensure consistency across the tournaments happening at all of these separate locations?
So we on our website, we have an FAQ page as well as when a tournament director wants to sanction or certify their event with us, it comes to me and I will go out and I will take a look at their tournament setup to see if they've set it up what we call the senior way, being that they've used US Senior Pickleball formats. And then if not, then I will reach out to them and let them know that this is what our seniors have requested and this is how to properly set up your brackets and your events. And our championship pathway and all of those events are set up that way already. It's the circuit series events that we are continuing educating our tournament directors on how to set up successful senior formats.
That's great. And it's obviously really takes a team effort across the board there. And so, from your perspective, what separates a well run tournament from one that might fall short?
Operations staff, by far. You have to have a team behind the desk that has not only run tournaments, but know and understand US Senior Pickleball formats and the way we set up brackets. You could have to change a bracket on a dime. If something happens, someone gets hurt, they can't make it. How do you merge these brackets? And we have a great group of zone directors that run tournaments, a great group of operators, tournament operators that we hire outside of the organization that come in and run our events. So I would say the first thing is going to be your operations staff. The second thing is your on-site staff of who you're working with at the venue. And third, and certainly not least, is the volunteers.
And how crucial are our volunteers to help with those operations of a large scale event? And you just hosted your largest national championship with over 900 players. What did that experience look like behind the
Yes,
scenes?
it was, I'm not gonna lie to you, it was pure chaos, thanks to the weather, and we'll get to the weather in a second. But again,
Yeah.
changing on a dime when you had to. So we had our entire staff there and working with the Pictona people and their staff, and not only that, but our vendors who were willing to adapt and adjust based on weather issues, based on court changes, based on bracket changes. So that ability to adapt and adjust on a dime.
Yeah. And let's talk about those weather challenges and limited courts at times. How did you navigate that in real time?
That was interesting. So if you can imagine, we had 44 courts that we could use with almost 1,000 players. The first day we got in using all the courts, the last 3 days it rained every day. We had 13
Oh my
courts
gosh.
available under cover. The players adapted and adjusted to our timing. I had an amazing event team behind the tournament desk, the referees to ensure that players were getting on and off courts, the volunteers helping us try to dry courts when we could dry courts. There was a day where we went till 1 o'clock in the morning. The following day, we went to 3 a.m. in the
Oh my
morning.
God.
But with that being said, we never stopped any matches. We completed the entire tournament. So we did exactly what we came there to do,
Wow.
and that was to complete the entire tournament.
Yeah, that's incredible. I mean, congratulations on that. I am lucky enough to be able to talk to organizations across the world that are across every different type of sport you can imagine. And a common theme is the things that happen that you just cannot control. And because of that, the importance of the people that you're surrounding yourself with. And you mentioned, your internal team, the trust that you've built within your organization so that the players that are there trust that you're going to do whatever is right to make it right for them. And then with your city, your destination that you're partnering with, and the venue, it takes all people to be able to really make that a success. And so, what did that experience teach you about planning, adaptability, and just running events at scale?
Pre-planning and preparation is key, right? So knowing your venue staff, working with your tournament staff, working with the USSP staff to ensure that everybody is on board, but just taking a look at those extra things. If you're running a national championship and it is outdoors, does it have backup capability? Is it an area where, maybe it rains 2 days a year? Those types of things. So planning and
Yeah.
preparation 6 months in advance is huge to any major event.
Totally. And once again, it just takes those partnerships to make that happen. And so when you are selecting a destination or a venue, what are some non-negotiables when it comes to selecting that location?
Well, if it's a pathway to nationals, we'll say, those championship courts, dedicated courts, excellent Wi-Fi, or the tournament would not be able to be run. I would love to have an area for our tournament staff to be separated from the players because they are running the tournament. And of course, you know, restrooms, parking, all the little tangibles that you really don't think about because nowadays you'll go to an area and they charge for parking. So, with all of these new venues that are out there with pickleball, we look at those little things because, again, our seniors are retired. A lot of them are on a budget, and we try to keep our event fees and our registration fees reasonable. So, we want them to come and enjoy being at a venue and not having to worry about all those little tangibles.
Yeah, definitely. And is there one event that you've been a part of that really stands out to you personally?
Well, besides this last nationals, that was very challenging. Probably say my first, and it's not, and believe it or not, it's probably not with US Senior Pickleball, but it is back when I ran the national tournament at Indian Wells. I think that was the jump start to what you see now in all pickleball. Working with the team at Indian Wells and having a pickleball tournament at a place where all of the professional tennis players are out there playing. And it was just an incredible experience. And to see the joy and excitement of people coming into the sport. So for me, that was probably a big kickoff to what you see in pickleball today.
Yeah, and it's something that has really stuck out to me about the sport is and just seeing it from my dad is the community that he's built by playing, and he's made more friends than I think he could have ever imagined at this point of his life just from the sport. And could you speak to the community that pickleball has created?
Oh, absolutely. So when I first got involved in pickleball, again, it was on the recreational side, and then you move into the competitive side. But pickleball is exactly that. It is community. It is family. Yes, you're going to see some people get upset or, want to fight that you see nowadays in pickleball. But for the most part, people love what they do. And in the community, they want to share the love of the sport. You can't really say that about a lot of other sports. I'm still a competitive softball player. Yeah, we're nice to each other, but you're still a little bit more competitive.
Yeah.
But within the pickleball world, we celebrate other people's successes and you want to see your friends succeed. You see all of these different skill sets in these different ages. And what other sport can you go out and play in that you can literally just pick up a paddle maybe a few weeks ago and be like, hey, I think I'll go play in this tournament. And you're playing against people of your same skill set and your same age level. So to me, pickleball is love and pickleball is community. I love what it brings to everybody.
Yeah, I agree. And as someone who I was a previous athlete, but I've been on the pickleball courts with him and with some other people, and it is a competition. And you better be ready to play. And so as someone who still considers themselves athletic, you're playing people of all ages who are very intense, but continue to clearly bring community. And so it's a sport that has exploded over the last 10 years, and it doesn't really seem like there's any stopping to it. What's really, in your opinion, driving the growth, and where do you see the biggest opportunity ahead?
Driving the growth is we're going to start with the juniors, right? So, where did the juniors start? Probably at a court with grandma and grandpa because they were the ones that first got involved. So
Yeah.
you're seeing your juniors that turn into, you're starting to see it now at schools, which are turning into colleges and collegiate tournaments. And of course, you have the pros that are playing, and we all celebrate the pros, whether it's our pros or our senior pros. But for us in US Senior Pickleball, we're senior focused and amateur driven. So we are seeing the continued growth because yes, you're a great player at 35 and you're out there playing, and then you're 45, and the next thing you know, you're like me, you're 62, and you're like, I'm still able to play sports and be competitive and go out and have fun with my friends. And the next thing you know, you walk over to court 20 and you're watching the 85-year-olds play, and you're like, woohoo, I still got 25 more years I could play. So you're seeing that continued growth be organic as people continue to love the sport. And then the next thing you know, they're like, hey, you got to come play on the court with me. We're having a blast over here. So to me, it's all about sharing what you love to do.
Yeah. And it's so clear by talking to you how much passion you have for the game and the community around it. And so it puts a smile on my face to hear when people are that passionate about what they do. And so as you look ahead for the rest of the year, what are you most looking forward to?
My gosh, I love seeing the emails that are coming into us asking more questions about US Senior Pickleball. What is going on because of our growth? People are starting to see what we do, who we are, who we support, everything that we do. So what I love seeing in this year, we already have on the books almost 80 sanctioned tournaments for the year. We'll get over 100 tournaments, and that growth brings new members. Now, what is the new members? The new members, if you become a new member with your $20, we have an amazing partnership with Humana. And through Humana's partnership and being a member of US Senior Pickleball, we have what's called a grassroots program. So for these newer seniors, they're like, oh, yeah, I heard about pickleball, but I really don't know much about it. We're getting them off of the couch. We're getting them out to these local courts. And then the next thing you know, these are the people that are like, I want to play in that tournament I heard about. So you're seeing that organic growth, but again, senior focused and amateur driven, and they just love it. So for this year, I'm looking forward to the continued growth.
It's incredible. And that's a great partnership that you mentioned. Could you speak to the importance of having those kind of partnerships that's really helping drive that growth and participation?
Absolutely. Having a partner like Humana or any other sponsors or vendors that come in hugely helps us get to the next level. Because as you can imagine, there's probably 20 tournaments on any given weekend all around the country, right? So having the support of a Humana and their team helps us get over that finish line. So having them as a partner, they were our title sponsor for our national championship. They're our title sponsor for our championship series, and working with them and any other vendors or sponsors brings that relationship that you look for
Mhm.
in a great partner because they are there. They're not one of those partners that are just
Yeah.
like, okay, yeah, I'm going to give you some sponsorship money and we wish you the best of luck. They are true partners. They are in it to win it with you. And that's what I love about our vendors and our sponsors with US Senior Pickleball. They come to our tournaments, they set up, they talk to our members, and they treat everybody like family. So having them as our title sponsor has been huge for us.
That's great. And as you look to expand, are there any locations that you are really looking to get into?
My goodness. So we have sanctioned or certified tournaments in Hawaii. That's never a bad thing to do,
Oh,
right? Looking to
yeah.
get into everywhere, everywhere. We see all of these new venues being built. We are going to be at a location this year where we were at last year for a conference. It's called PickleCon. It's indoors in Kansas City.
Oh,
So being at venues like this and being partners with them, I think is an awesome start. I mean, everywhere. One location that I
yeah.
really like to get into is the Northeast, right? So that's probably our most underserved area is the Northeast. I don't know if that weather has anything to do with it, but would love to see more US Senior Pickleball tournaments in the Northeast. And if anybody wants us to have one there, contact me. Let's do it.
Uh, well, us at Playeasy are very excited to help foster that growth. And I know a few people in the Northeast. You're mentioning the weather, but I know a lot of people. So we're excited to continue to partner with you guys and help foster that growth. And so, just to close us out, what has been the biggest lesson you've learned throughout your journey in building and scaling events in this space?
Probably the biggest lesson I've learned is I had to learn how to adapt and adjust on the fly. So, playing in other sports, everything is set up. These are the rules, these are the formats, this is what you're going to do. You're going to go out and you're going to do this. And within pickleball, again, it could be a weather issue, it could be a bracket issue, somebody gets hurt, something happens. You have to be able to adjust and adapt on the fly. And that has been the biggest lesson for me because I'm a planner, a pre-planner, so to speak. I'm like, "Okay, I got all my ducks in a row." And then that one thing happens and you're like, "Uh-oh, what do I do?" So being able to adjust on the fly
Yeah.
and have a tournament team that you can work with that helps you through it.
Ah, I love it. Well, Karen, this has been such a pleasure getting to know you more about US Senior Pickleball and just hearing your passion for the game and the community it builds. So I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Of course. Thanks, everyone. Until next time.